Hey folks, my name is Jen, and I am just back from a fairly successful book shopping trip, so let me show you what I have acquired over the past couple of months. So I ended up going out today with my husband to Barnes & Noble because I had a couple of gift cards for Barnes & Noble from my birthday, and then I had a couple from Christmas, so I definitely wanted to go out and grab some things. So I will show you what I grabbed today, and then I will also show you I was gifted a couple of books for my birthday and then a couple that I was gifted for Christmas. So let me show you these first. First of all, there was one thing for my birthday that I kind of bought myself as like a little birthday present to myself. I found out that Rudy Francisco is coming out with a new poetry collection, and you probably have seen it already because I read it in November, but I ended up pre-ordering it and I got this, and I was really happy because it came with a bookmark, and then it's also, I got the signed edition. So yeah, that was a little present that I bought myself. And I also, from one of my friends, I received a couple of really cool things. So the first is the official cookbook for Hocus Pocus, and it's pretty awesome. I've already flipped through here. I looked at things. It's got like fun things like Dead Man's Toes, which is basically like Italian sausage wrapped in like puff pastry. But then it also has like just really yummy looking things too. French toast, just a lot of different stuff. Billy Butcherson zombie fingers. Just like really funny but like yummy looking things too. I was also given this illustrated edition of Hocus Pocus, the book, illustrated by Gris Grimley, and it's just really pretty. So the paper kind of looks old, and then the artwork in here itself is just really whimsical and like cute. So yeah, I think it's really cute. So I will be reading this. I'll probably be saving it for October, I imagine, but it's so cute. And then for my birthday, my husband got me a couple of books. The first of which he got me 2 cookbooks, and they are actually Great British Bake Off related cookbooks. So there's A Bake for All Seasons, and there's Love to Bake. And these have recipes from Paul and Prue, and it also has recipes from the bakers themselves from the seasons. And I haven't looked at like every page yet, but I have flipped through a bunch, and I'm really excited because some of the things in here were dishes that me and my bestie had like kind of already bookmarked as, ooh, we want to try to make those at some point, so it's really cool. And I didn't know that they made like their own cookbooks, so that's also really cool. And then he also gave me, I was so excited about this, Abroad in Japan, 10 Years in the Land of the Rising Sun by Chris Broad. I don't know if anyone else watches Chris Broad's channel. He is a British dude who ended up coming over like 10 years ago to Japan to be a English teacher, and he ended up staying, and in the beginning days he started like a YouTube channel just kind of trying to acclimatize to everything and talk about the culture shock and introduce people to stuff, and it's become like this whole thing. Like he's worked with Japan's like tourism, he's met like a lot of really cool people, and yeah, he has like this Abroad in Japan is his channel, and yeah, I love his videos. My husband and I, he's one of the, there's like 4 or 5 channels that we watch regularly together, and his channel is one of them. He's hilarious. His videos are always like so cool, and we really really desperately want to visit Japan someday, even though we know that's probably not gonna happen because of expenses and how much both of us are terrified of flying for 18 hours. But yeah, I just really love his videos, and when I found out that he was writing a book about his experiences, I was like, oh my god, that's so awesome. So yeah, my husband got me this for Christmas. I'm really excited about it. I didn't mention this in like my unread books video because I didn't know that I was getting this yet, but this is up there on my nonfiction list that I want to read fairly soon. So, because I have been listening to an audiobook of The Hobbit, and I've been kind of taking my time with it because I was listening to it mostly while I'm working, but I'm really enjoying it. So I decided to, I got these for, I want to say like Christmas when I was a kid, and have tried multiple times to read through them and just could not. But because of how much I have been enjoying the Hobbit audiobook, I decided I should probably grab these from my parents' house, and it was the this box set of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I grabbed these from my parents, so you'll see these on my shelves too. I am still finishing up the audiobook of The Hobbit. I'm going to try to read the physical copy of The Fellowship of the Ring and see if maybe it can hold my attention now. But if not, I'll find hopefully another dramatized audiobook of the trilogy and I'll make my way through that. But yeah, so I did grab these from my parents' house. Okay, on to the books that I got. So I actually had a list of things that I was looking for. Specific things, and then I had a couple of other books that I grabbed just because I saw them and was like, oh shit. I didn't find a couple of things. I didn't actually end up getting over to the Agatha Christie section, but that is okay because I tend to like to get her stuff from secondhand shops anyway. And I did not go over to the Custlers because again, I'm okay going to secondhand shops for that. I did go over, I almost picked up a copy of A Tale of Two Cities by Dickens, but then I decided that maybe I'll wait on that. And I was looking for the next couple of books of the Three Musketeers series. I was looking for more of that from Dumas, but I was looking for the specific translator that translated Three Musketeers, and I did not find him, so they actually didn't have that much. They had a different translation of Three Musketeers, and then they had The Man in the Iron Mask, but it was a different translator entirely, so yeah, I didn't grab those. The one that I was kind of like bummed out about not finding was The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty. I was really looking for that because that was one that was on my anticipated list for this previous year, and I really wanted to grab one. I like put it off, but now was the time for me to grab books that I had wanted to read and then kind of put off. And yeah, I couldn't find it. Ended up, well, my husband had me ask up at the counter because I hate asking for help. But I did ask, and it was in their system that they had it, but it was like nowhere on the floor. So I ended up placing an order online for that. So that will be coming in, and that is a book about a middle-aged pirate. Like, she's been retired. They've all been retired for like years, but I can't remember what the circumstances are, but I think there's like a threat to her family, our loved ones, and she has to gather her crew back together for one last big standoff or job or something like that. And like that whole premise, love it. Pirates, love it. So yeah, that will be coming in the mail, I think sometime this week or next week, so excited about that. But the books that I actually grabbed from the store, the other ones that were on my list, I was looking for Lone Woman by Victor Laval, and that was right there up at front, so I was like, oh yes. So this is one, was this on my anticipated reads for the year? I think this was too. So I don't know how to explain this, so I'm just gonna read this. Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because when the trunk opens, people around her start to disappear. The year is 1915. Adelaide is in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents, forcing her to flee California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader. Dragging the trunk with her at every stop, she will become one of the lone women taking advantage of the government's offer of free land for those who can tame it, except that Adelaide isn't alone. And the secret she is tries so desperately to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive the harsh territory. So, awesome. I've heard actually mixed things about it from reviews, but I'm still really looking forward to this. I think this will be kind of spooky and cool. And then the other one, this wasn't on my anticipated, because I think this one might have come out fairly recently, but I did see it come up in October, November, under like books by and about Indigenous authors, and this sounded so freaking cool. So I grabbed it. I found this like right by the other one too, and it's Blood Sisters, and it's by Vanessa Lilly. And this is, as an archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Sid Walker spends her days in Rhode Island trying to protect the land's indigenous past, even as she's escaping her own. While Sid is dedicated to her job, she's haunted by a night of violence she barely escaped in her Oklahoma hometown 15 years ago. Though she swore she'd never go back, the past comes calling. When a skull is found near the crime scene of her youth, just as her sister Emma Lou vanishes, Sid knows she must return home. She refuses to let her sister's disappearance or the remains go ignored, as so often happens in cases of missing Native women. But not everyone is glad to have Sid home, and she can feel the crosshairs on her. Still, the deeper Sid digs, the more she uncovers about a string of missing Indigenous women cases going back decades. To save her sister, she must expose a darkness in the town that no one wants to face, not even her. Love it. We have archaeology, we have a mystery, we have looking into the past, love it. And also dealing with like missing and murdered, endangered indigenous women, which is like honestly something that needs to be talked about a lot more. So yeah, I was pretty excited. These are the first ones that I grabbed. I was super jazzed. And then a couple of the other ones that I was looking for was more of the Adventure Zone. So I grabbed, do I have book 3? I know I have book 1 and book 2. I don't know if I have book 3. But they did not have book 3 there, but I was able to grab book 4, The Crystal Kingdom, and book 5, The 11th Hour. So these are graphic novels following the Adventure Zone podcast characters by Clint, Justin Travis, and Griffin McElroy, and the art is by Carrie Peisch. And I love the podcast, and I love these dumb boys, and I love their graphic novels. So that's also what I was looking for. I almost got Lore Olympus, but then I was like, there's so many volumes now. I'm going to wait on that for a little bit. And then this one, it wasn't on my immediate list this time, but it was something that I looked for last year. And they had a copy this time, so I grabbed it, and it's Mooncakes. This is by Wendy Zhu, Suzanne Walker, and Jomette Gill. And this is a really kind of cute graphic novel. But there's like some darker stuff going on. So one fateful night, teen witch Nova Huang follows reports of a white wolf in the woods and discovers her childhood crush, werewolf Tam Lang, battling a horse demon. Now against the background of a slowly rekindling romance, Tam and Nova must investigate the dark supernatural forces eager to claim wolf magic for evil. So little spooky, little cute artwork. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I've heard good things about that. And then the books that were not on my list that I immediately snatched up. So when I was in the front, I saw this one. And I forgot that this was out, so I was just like, yoink. And it's Quarantine Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. I loved the Princess Diaries. I used to talk about, I haven't talked about this in a while, but that series made such an enormous impact on me when I was a teenager. Like, I related to Mia so much. I think the only character I ever related to even more than Mia Thermopolis was, or is, Tiffany Aching. But like, in my formative years as a teenager, Mia Thermopolis was it. And I want to revisit the series at some point, but I'm also afraid to, because I'm like, oh no, what if I've outgrown it so much and it's really bad now? But I don't know. I knew, and I'd even read a little bit of the quarantine diary entries that Meg posted online, but I wasn't really keeping up with anything. But this, yeah, I forgot that this had come out, so I definitely had to, like, snatch this up. This is so funny that this is, like, an Avon romance or something. It was over in the romance area. Which, I mean, I guess it fits. But, yeah. So, this is basically set during the pandemic. So that will be a little hard, because mentally, I had to steel myself to go back into that. But, it's basically, these are entries, recording Mia dealing with the pandemic in general, her personal, like, anxieties and feelings, emotions of everything that's going on, and also, like, trying to keep Genovia safe and dealing with her crazy-ass family, as per usual. So, yeah, I was excited about that. And then I told myself that I was not going to start any more manga series until I finish the ones that I currently own. They did not have any of the ones that I own, because some of the ones that I have that are unfinished are admittedly a little bit older, so they aren't automatically there, unless they're, like, huge, and hugely popular, then they might have a few volumes there. But, so, every time I check out the manga section, I keep thinking to myself, I really want to get that. I really want to get that. But they never had, like, the introductory volumes. But this time, they did. And it's Blue Exorcist, and this is by Kazu Kato, and I got volume 1 and volume 2. This is an anime that my husband and I watched several years ago, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I have figures of both of these boys. Yeah, yeah, so I was like, fuck it. I looked up how long this series is, and it's like a 28 or 29 volume series, and I kind of have a rule, a personal rule, to not get a series that is like 30 or over, or to, at least to not hit over 30 in a series. I just can't with really long ones. Yeah, I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna get it and track down the volumes. I'll track down other volumes of things. So, yeah, Blue Exorcist, if you don't know. I'm just gonna read this so it better explains it, because I'm gonna give a spoiler otherwise. Raised by Father Fujimoto, a famous exorcist, Rin Okumura never knew his real father. One day, a fateful argument with Father Fujimoto forces Rin to face a terrible truth. The blood of the demon lord, Satan, runs in Rin's veins. Rin swears to defeat Satan, but doing that means entering the mysterious True Cross Academy and becoming an exorcist himself. Can Rin fight demons and keep his internal blood infernal bloodline a secret. It won't be easy, especially when drawing his father's sword releases the demonic power within him, which is all this jazz. I love Rin. He is awesome. So that's Rin, and this is his twin brother, Yukio, who I love a good story about twins, and also I like this series, what it says about like fighting your fate. What your parentage says doesn't define you. It's like a whole big, like, it's just really badass, and it also involves like a magical sword, and I'm all about like, I tend to, you'll probably notice the more that how much I've talked about anime or manga, or how much more I'm going to be talking about anime and manga, you'll probably notice that I really tend to like series that involve sword play. So yeah, so I grabbed these two, and yeah. Then the last book I grabbed was actually one that wasn't on my immediate list, but it was something that I know I marked to read on like Goodreads, and it was something I was aware of because I've heard people talk about this a lot here and there. And I just decided, fuck it, I'll grab it. And it's Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and this is by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And this, it's kind of like a little fable. So basically, in a small back alley of Tokyo, there is a cafe that has been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. Local legend says this shop offers something else besides coffee, the chance to travel back in time. Over the course of one summer, 4 customers visit the cafe in the hopes of making this journey. But time travel isn't so simple, and there are rules that must be followed. Most important, the trip can last only as long as it takes for the coffee to get cold. So it's like, what would you change if you could travel back in time? It's like revisiting people. It's just like a lot to think about. I feel like this book is going to emotionally destroy me, but in a really sweet way. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and I've also been wanting to expand my reading a little more internationally as well. I've been trying to, I don't do that much of it, but I've been trying to be more mindful and expand it outside of just America, UK, Canada. Kind of expand it outwards a little bit more. And especially focusing more on like Japanese authors and stuff from Japan, because I love Japan. I love manga, I love anime, but I want to read more actual books from there as well, are written by Japanese folks. So yeah, that's it, folks. That's everything that I recently grabbed. Let me know if you've read any of these. I know a couple of these are fairly new, but yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, if there's any other recommendations you have based off of these, or yeah, anything. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for always watching. If you are new here and would like to subscribe, please consider doing so. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, wherever you're at, and a great start to your January. Although I imagine by the time I put this video up, it'll be probably closer to the end of January. But anyway, yeah. Bye, guys.